Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. As you guys can tell from the title of today's video, I wanted to sit down and film an unhaul. It is a long time coming. I've actually done a little bit of purging over the last 3 or 4 months. I've been trying to get rid of books that I just either didn't like, didn't love, didn't want to reread, those kinds of things, or books that have been sitting on my shelves for quite a while that I had no interest in reading at all. And that is kind of what these are going to be. Usually I just sell them. I don't really sit down and film unhauls because I feel like it's a little bit of a touchy subject. I feel like a lot of people either get offended when you get rid of their books, don't really understand the sentiment behind that, or people get really, I don't know, in a way they get really upset, like, I really wanted that book and you're getting rid of it, and I just don't really like filming them. But I did want to sit down today and film this because you guys are requesting that I actually do film unhauls, because I do actually unhaul books quite often. I've probably gotten rid of 30 to 40 in the last like 4 months. A few of these books I got in subscription services. One of these was sent to me from a publisher. One of them is a very beloved duology. I'm going to save that for last because I feel like hopefully by then a lot of people will have clicked off of this video and won't come for me because I got rid of them. I'm going to go ahead and start with a book that I got from my Illuma crate, and that would be Empress of All Seasons by Emiko Jean. I was really excited to read this when I got it, but the longer it sat on my shelves, the more I realized that I just wasn't going to get around to reading it. So it says, the rules are simple: survive the deadly tournament, marry the prince, but some don't play by the rules. I don't know why, but I'm not really interested in like a, I don't know, like a tournament-y kind of romance novel. There are very few fantasy romancy books that I've been really in the mood to read, and unfortunately this isn't really one of them. I'm just not really feeling the whole tournament vibe right now. I'm really sad about it because this version is beautiful. It's got the black edges, it's obviously signed. For me, it didn't really pique my interest, so unfortunately that is the first book that I'm going to be parting ways with. If you guys are wondering what I do with my books, I sell them to half-price books. If you guys have those in your city, you can sell your books there. They don't necessarily give you the most money for them, but any money's good considering these are just going to sit on my shelves anyway. The next book I have is a book that I read and really enjoyed but will probably never read again, and it is Bossypants by Tina Fey. This is obviously a memoir from Tina Fey, and I love her. I think that she's a very inspiring woman, but I mean, I know her life now, or at least what she wrote in this, and I don't need to continue to read it because there's not going to be anything else kind of added to this book. So this is a book that I think is worth the one-time read, but not necessarily a book that I need to keep for forever. So I'm obviously going to be selling this as well. Like I said, it was very funny. I do like it a lot. This book is more so about motherhood and becoming a woman and what it means to be a woman, and has a lot of really good ideas in it. So it's definitely a book that I think is worth renting from the library to see what you think of it. Listening to it on an audiobook I feel like would be a really good idea as well, because I'm not mistaken, she actually does narrate it. So I did like the book, but I'm never gonna read it again. Which brings me into the next one, which I had the very same sentiments with. I did like it. I feel like it had a lot of really good ideas in the story, but it's not really a book that I'm ever going to read again, and I believe they're making it into a show, but it is about Pinot Lella. So this is about a boy who wants to kind of avoid the war, but his parents send him to the war, essentially in Italy, because Italy, if you're not familiar, was obviously thrown into World War II, and that is what this follows. But Pinot is really just trying to protect the people he loves by going into the German army. He is kind of like slated to go into the German army. And I liked the story, but I wasn't as big of a fan of the writing style as I thought I would be. I've heard it's really beautiful, but for me, it was really all over the place in a way, and I feel like it lacked a lot of meat. I feel like the verbiage that the author used didn't really work for me. It felt pretty empty. So I didn't hate the book. I think I gave it 3.5. I think I ended up giving it 4 stars on Goodreads. So definitely a good book. I liked the overall storyline, but I didn't love it as much as I wanted to. And I want to pass it along because this is a book, this is the most sold book on Amazon if I'm not mistaken. And I do really like it, but I'm never going to read it again. So, and it's a really big book. So it's just taking up a lot of unnecessary space on my shelves for a book that I'm never going to read more than once. So the next book I have here was sent to me from a publisher. I actually really liked this book. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. So I ended up rounding it down to 3 for some other reasons. I can't really remember why. I think the overall story felt kind of all over the place, but this is Annex by Rich Larson. This is a book about Violet and Beau. Beau is a black teen in this world, and Violet is a transgender teen in this world. This is sort of like a, I want to say mildly dystopian, and that's probably why I didn't love this book as much as I wanted to. I didn't hate it. Like I said, I did enjoy it, but I didn't love it because I do not like dystopians. I think it is by far my least favorite genre. I'd rather read romance and like anything else. I just do not like him. If you know any good dystopians, leave them down below. But this is I would say dystopian because all of the adults in the world that they live in have kind of turned into zombies, but not like flesh-eating zombies, just like really sluggish, no brain activity. They don't really do anything. They just kind of wander around. And the kids are kind of left to themselves. But the kids are stolen by these aliens and they are kind of tested on because they are trying to grow something that they need within the children. So the story was really cool, but there's a lot of things that were lacking in this. Like I said, the dialogue was a little bit weird. The characters weren't totally fleshed out. The story overall was really cool, but once you've experienced it, I don't think you need to experience it again. I know there is probably going to be a little bit of a series for this because this is called The Violet Wars and it's #1. So I'm assuming there's going to be more. I'm definitely going to be picking them up. I just don't think that I'll ever read this one again. And I don't think that I loved this series enough to keep it on my shelves, unfortunately. So definitely a beautiful book, but not one. I feel like it has a lot of good ideas in it, but it's not one that I'm going to reread. And the last books that I have here are a duology, and they are a beloved duology, but they are a duology that I need to get off my shelves. So I would say about 2 months ago, I unhauled the entire A Court of Frost and whatever, you know, A Court of Thorns and Roses, that whole series. I unhauled it because I realized I was never going to read it again. I found that I really liked a few of the themes. I liked a lot of the characters, but if I ever want to experience that again, I can go ahead and just borrow it from my library. So this series, I liked the first one. There's a couple of characters that I love in this series, but overall, I was unimpressed by it. I don't really enjoy this writer's writing style. I don't really enjoy how they do characters. I don't really enjoy the whole villain redemption thing. You might know what I'm talking about already, but it would be Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares. I don't want these anymore. I am unfortunately one of the very, very few people who didn't absolutely love this series. I wanted to love this series. Everyone I know loves this series, but for me, it is just a gigantic waste of space on my shelves. This is definitely a series that I will never read again. This is not a series that I was absolutely in love with. I'm really sad because this edition is signed, but honestly, I need to make room and I want to have books on my shelves that I love. And while I do love Laszlo and I think he is a stunning character, I'm just never going to read these books again. So I think unfortunately it is time to part with them. And that makes me so sad, but I gotta do what I gotta do. Alright guys, so that is going to be it for today's video. Let me know down below the last book you unhauled or a book that's sitting on your shelves that you really want to read, but you have an inkling that you may never get around to actually reading. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!